What's going on, Jerome's? Even though we're keeping Skull alive and the Vikings, they still have a chance to make the playoffs. They got to win out and get some help. Looking at the other side of the coin, an update on the Vikings draft position. Now, it hasn't changed much since we did the last video. I don't think we did one the last couple weeks as the Vikings were winning. But Vikings currently sit at the number 12 draft pick position. And yeah, that's really about it. Now, all the people who say you want to lose out, even though it requires losing to the Packers and losing to the Bears, which they might do at home anyway because it's the Bears at home in the final week of the season, the Vikings actually can't tank too far. I think that the highest they can get realistically is that number 9 spot if they lose out and say Washington and Atlanta lose out as well and blah, 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 right? Because I don't see, if Chicago beats the Vikings week 18, maybe they'll do something this next week. Sure. Carolina, I don't see getting on a winning streak. Same thing with Seattle at this point. So yeah, the Vikings, even though, hey, it would be nice to improve draft position if they're not going to make the playoffs, you're not going to do too much. But currently, I mean, wow, Jacksonville, nice loss to the Jets, bro. But they're currently in the 1 spot back-to-back number 1 overall picks. They got Detroit at 2. They're sort of winning themselves out of the number 1 pick. Houston at 3, Jets at 4. The Jets actually have 2 top 6 selections because of the Jamal Adams trade, and for that they thank you. Giants have 2 top 8 selections at 5 as well as 8 from the Justin Fields trade. The Eagles, yeah, what's going on with the Eagles? Where are all the Eagles draft picks? Oh yeah, 1 is in the playoffs, and then the Colts. Since the Colts got off the mat, that's really impacting that number 1 pick that they sent for Carson Wentz. So the Eagles, remember the Eagles had 3 top 10 picks, but then it didn't quite work out because the Dolphins started at 1-7, and that pick looked pretty sexy, but that's gone to 14. They could sneak into playoff places very quickly. I mean, Baltimore might miss. That's crazy, man. So the Eagles at 14, 21, and 23. It's still good, but it's not 3 top 10 picks like it was before. And then Carolina is at 7, Washington at 9, Atlanta at 10. You have the Broncos at 11, and then the Vikings 12. And then, of course, strength of schedule does factor in. If you have the same record but against weaker competition, you do get the higher draft pick there. So that's where all these tiebreakers go with the Vikings and the Browns and whatnot. And this is from Tankathon Vikings draft pick update. So they have 1, 2, 3, which is kind of nice to have as opposed to not having a 2 in recent years. They did lose the 4 in the Chris Herndon trade, but they get this Jets 6th round pick back as well. They got that 5th from Baltimore. That's the leftovers of the Unique the Freaking Ngakoue trade. They sent their 5th to Jacksonville, etc. Then the swappy swap for Mike Hughes in there as well as the Steve Weatherly trade. Cool. And they do a 3-round mock draft. So David Ojabo from Michigan. The other Michigan edge rusher. He's great. Stand-up linebacker, play some defensive end as well. 6'5", 260, 41 pressures, and 11 sacks this year. Last season, he I think only got in 1 game. Like, he is a one-hit wonder, but last year, stuck behind Kwity Paye, FU Pay Me, currently with the Colts, as well as Aiden Hutchinson, who's going to be a top 2 pick. Likely in this year's draft, but he came in, man. Long arms, burst. He really looks like Chandler Jones, and it's not just because he wears 55. Stylistically, he just gets after it. Now, the big question is how much of it was getting singled up opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. That's TBD, but I think physical upside, Ojabo is just going to be a fantastic player in this league. Second round, number 43, Zion Johnson. How much for a ZJ? If you got to ask, you can't afford it. Zion was one of my favorite guys in the draft last year before he returned to Chestnut Hill in Boston College, I must say. 6'3", 316, only allowed 6 pressures and 1 sack this year, playing primarily left guard. He's played left guard 2 out of 3 years. I forgot where he transferred from. He transferred in from a small school. He's been at Boston College for the last 3 years, but he played left tackle last year. He was fine there, but I think at the NFL level, he's going to be a guard. Now, you do get a little bit skittish about flipping guys from sides, but I think that Ezra is firmly entrenched at left guard. So Zion Johnson at right guard, one time. Third round, Brandon Joseph. Now, Joseph is a redshirt sophomore. I haven't seen if he's officially declared, but he will likely go into the draft. And I understand. Oh, why are you drafting a safety? You got Cameron Bynum. You have Harrison Smith. Maybe Xavier Woods will be back. Again, drafting talent. Best player available. BPA over drafting for need, because drafting for need keeps you drafting for need. Get the best players into the building and everything will work out later. Joseph, 6'1", a $192. He's got instincts and range, 3 interceptions, as well as a 65.9 quarterback rating when thrown at this year, which is pretty damn good. And just looking towards the future, I'm not sure if Xavier Woods is going to be back. He signed a 1-year deal in free agency. I don't think that he will be. Harrison Smith has been great this year, but he is aging out. I get a little choked up talking about it. Is that you, Rona? But Cameron Bynum, I think that the Vikings have not tapped into his versatility yet. Of course, he was a cornerback by trade at college. I think him in the slot, he should have been in the slot against Cooper Kupp and not Mac Alexander. But other than that, even though I was yelling about that all last week, whatever. So the Vikings with Joseph, Harrison, and Bynum could do some fun, nice things. Harrison Smith could drop in as more of a weak side linebacker down in the box, and then you have Joseph and Cameron Bynum as split safeties, or working Bynum into the slot. There's lots of ways to incorporate talent. Maybe the next coach will actually do that. I don't really know. But if this is what happens, 1, 2, 3, I'm down, man. I'm down. You have 2 high-end defensive players in Ojabo and Joseph who could be up here. Zion Johnson is a rock-solid offensive lineman who I've loved forever. He's great in the outside zone scheme. BC runs a lot of zone. If the Vikings do stick with that, TBD, maybe the new coaching regime is like, hey, we're a power team now, which I'm okay with, even though you'll need basically all new offensive linemen except for O'Neal and Darisaw. Maybe Ezra. We'll see. But yeah, Zion is scheme agnostic. He can run more gap. He can run zone. He is just fantastic. So yeah, if this is what happens, 1, 2, 3 for the Vikings in the draft, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm pretty okay with that. Even in January. Wait, no, still December. Whatever. This time of year is very nebulous. I have no idea what day it is, but let us know your thoughts on our thoughts of Vikings draft order update. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.